I'm here with Ricky and Chase above Sulfur to talk about The Burden of Faith coming out March 24th on Century Media. How you guys doing today?
Great. How about you?
Doing great, man. Doing great. First question I have for both of you is, did you guys set up any specific expectations for yourselves individually, but also for the band as a collective as far as making this album?
Well, I mean, visually, we wanted to take it a step above. Musically, we wanted to take a step above. So we kind of really pushed ourselves in order to do this album. Everything from composing the songs to Ricky writing his lyrics to even wanting, better videos, we kind of wanted to take it like 3 steps above where we started. And, that's kind of like where we're at right now.
Ricky,
yeah, I mean, I wanted to do
out of this album.
I wanted to do more on this album than I've done before. With the EP, that was me just coming back into music. So I was having to not relearn how to do vocals, but trying to bring my chops back up. And then with this album, I feel like I'm seasoned once again. So I was able to push myself and do things a lot more powerfully, I guess, with this album than I was with the EP.
Is there, for you guys, do you have specific deathcore albums that became huge influences for you, and maybe for the fans of those records listening to this album, they can pick up a few of those influences?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, when Ricky came to me saying he wanted to do this style of music, I kind of looked to Shadow of Intense Melancholy, and because I thought that was just such a good, blackened deathcore album, and they're like, and Lorna, like the 2 best doing it right now, to be totally honest. So for this record, I mean, and even the Oblivion EP, that was a huge inspiration for me personally. And then, for some of the other songs, I would probably say Whitechapel has always been a huge influence for me as well. So The Valley was another one for me.
For me, I'd have to say, yeah, definitely Shadow of Intent, everything they put out, honestly. And then, probably the last Cattle Decapitation album, with how Travis is just able to do literally everything and anything. So, I really like that. Yeah, I'd probably say big influence was Whitechapel and Shadow and Cattle Decap for me.
When you look at putting the songs that you guys have created into an album setting, how important or how much stock do you guys put in the overall design and the overall structure of the record?
A lot. Yeah, we put a lot of thought into the design of the record. We even wrote these songs planning them to sound different but mesh together in a way that, I don't know, it's hard to explain. They all sound different, but they're very much so they all belong on the same album, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they're all fingers of the same hand.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but designing the album, making sure what song goes first, what song goes last, and everything is actually a crazy important part into how a successful album is made. Because if they're just all over the place, it's like, oh, they really didn't think about this, huh? So
Does it create heated discussions between you guys? I'm not going to say arguments, because you guys are all a bunch of brothers, but heated discussions?
No,
I don't think so.
We're very fortunate.
Yeah. Yeah, Ricky and I get along really, really well. All the other guys get along with us really, really well. So I don't if anything, it's just more of a discussion than anything. It's never really heated. There's never any real arguments or anything like that, especially with how the music's done or anything like that. I don't know, Ricky, unless you've had like a different experience than I have, but I feel like that's pretty fair to say.
Yeah, we have great communication, so yeah, we don't really get heated about anything now, you know.
Is there within that design, do you see a song that plays a pivotal role in order for that design to work better?
That's a good question. I would say starting with Stained and Rot and ending with The Burden of Faith was probably the thing that ties all these things together, because you start crushingly heavy and then you end with something beautiful, and then it like kind of takes a crushingly turn. So you start heavy and you end heavy, and you know, having a path to salvation in the middle too kind of helps, because that kind of serves as a little interlude for the album. So yeah, between those three things, I feel like those are three very important parts to the album.
What do you guys see as the signature sound for somebody that maybe coming to a show for the first time and they're asking their buddy, you know, I want to go see of Sulfur, like how do they sound? Like what is the signature sound that you see the band developing, not just with this record, but even with the previous EP?
Maybe that you know, that's yeah, you know, we're crushingly heavy, but also melodic and catchy, I guess. Yeah, you know, we want to have more than just one facet of sound. You know, we want to have a whole bunch of different sounds.
Yeah, I'd agree with Ricky on that one. The thing that kind of makes us stand out is how we don't really lose the heaviness of the deathcore side, but then we bring in the melody and stuff of more of like, you know, metalcore, new wave of heavy metal, like stuff like that, along with like the singing melodies and stuff as well. It's kind of like just very different. I would say it's equally as I always say it's equally as pretty as it is disgusting. So like that's kind of like the core of the sound.
Chase, when it comes to the guitar sound, where do you want those guitars to be in the mix so that they have their power, they have their strength, but you're not taking anything away from Ricky's vocals or from the drums or from the symphonic elements?
I mean, you know, when it comes to mixing and mastering, I'm no expert or anything like that. However, I feel like having the guitars, you know, pretty focal is a very important thing. You know, especially in the mix of everything, but it's not more important than I would say the drums or the symphonies or everything like that. With our style of music, you have to be very careful about leveling things out, because one thing goes higher and then you can't hear another thing, and then you know there's so many layers and everything to our music. So I feel like on this album it sits pretty much perfectly where it needs to be. It's there and it's front and center and you can hear them, but they're not overpowering to the point where you can't hear the drums or can't hear the vocals or can't hear the orchestrals. Like everything has a part to do, and it shines when it's supposed to. And that was the great thing about working with Josh Schrader. He absolutely killed the mix on this album. So I was very stoked about that.
And Ricky, when it comes to your vocals, do you go into an album thinking of how these songs are going to have to be done live? Does that play a role in terms of your vocal approach and how you're going to push that vocal approach throughout a recording of an album?
Honestly, on this album, I didn't even think about live. I just kind of went in there and just did it. And the whole general attitude with recording was, let's see what I can do. Let's see what's going to come out. Let's try everything. And we'll figure the rest out later. You know what I mean? And thankfully, it seems to be working so far live. So it was kind of just like a gamble.
And speaking of vocals, you guys had a few, maybe more than a few, I should say, guest vocalists on this album. This question is two-sided. One is, what are you trying to add as far as having these different style vocalists? And two, was it ever a concern that maybe there are too many of them on this record and that will take away something, a little bit of Ricky's spotlight as far as his vocals are concerned?
No, not for me. I just wanted to have people that I admired on the record or my friends. I don't necessarily think I'm not, I get enough spotlight. Yeah, I'm the singer of the band. I'm not really concerned about people overshadowing me. Actually, I wanted people's vocals on here to be better than mine. That's the whole point. Or I wanted people just to do it. Like I gave everybody that I had on the record the chance to write their own lyrics, the chance to do it however they wanted to do it. I had no say in it because that doesn't mean as much. I think if someone takes a song and puts what they want into it, it means more to that person, which and then turn will mean more to me. Like I'm not like an attention whore. I don't really, half the time I don't really like the attention. So you know, it's all just about having fun with your friends and or people you respect musically.
With every single release and record that you guys record and work together, do you see this band moving in a direction where the creative process becomes more fluid, more dynamic? Things start to almost move in a seamless kind of way. Are you guys becoming a well-oiled machine?
Getting there. We're getting there for sure. There will always be there will always be like struggles when it comes to like writing or producing and this and that and the other thing. But it is becoming more fluid, and we are seeing it start to become like a lot easier, especially like with the guys that we have now. We went through a lot of trial and error like when we first formed, and I just feel like this lineup is you know, a great group of dudes. They're very open to, collaboration. They're very open and they communicate well. So it's not really a struggle or anything like that. It's very nice actually. And like if there's ever any arguments, it's never like heated, like we said earlier. It's never like really an argument. It's more like discussion. So that's which is awesome. So I'm very, very stoked on that. So the answer would be yes.
And was there any curveballs that this record threw at you guys, either from a creative standpoint or in the studio? Is there any challenges that you guys are going to take from this album that allows you to grow better and become a better band for the next record?
I think uh, I think we all trust each other's writing ability and ideas more than we did, say, in the EP. And this album, this album, I think, showed each one of us that like, hey, we all have we may have different ways of things or different ideas about things, but we all have the common goal and the common idea. You know, as
Yeah, I'd
far as
agree.
recording, yeah, recording, I didn't have any curveballs. I don't think.
Yeah, yeah, I'd agree with Ricky. I mean, there were a few things where I might have changed up a guitar part, or I might have like done some this that or the other thing, but it was very small. It wasn't like anything crazy to where it was like a challenge or anything like that. I'd say the challenging thing was probably figuring out the beginning stages of what we wanted to do with the record and how we wanted it to sound on the record. That was probably the most challenging thing.
So you guys had a massive tour with Lorna Shore at the end of last year. What lessons did that tour brought to you guys?
Mm,
So pretty much we had a we went through a lot, and it's the biggest, probably the longest tour that we've done. Learned a lot about each other and how to like get along in close quarters in the van, and like and everything from like we had like there was a couple technical difficulties that maybe the audience might not have missed, and we kind of learned how to like get past those things and just kind of the show must go on type deal. Put a lot more thought into our live rig. I mean, I feel like tours always teach you lessons, like, and it's just how big those lessons are, different compared to other ones. But I mean, nothing we couldn't get past. So the tour was sick. The dudes were sick. Lorna are, you know, the biggest band doing it in the genre right now. So it was an honor to tour with them, and aborted Angel Maker and Jested, all great dudes. So I was very stoked and honored to be on the tour. I'm sure Ricky would say the same.
Yep, I agree. I think every tour you just learn how to perfect your show that much more. So I think that that was definitely something we took away from it, was just where we can, tie up any kind of loose ends with the live show.
You know, I said already on record this, but I'm going to say it again. Lorna Shore Deathcore album of 2022, sorry. And you guys were on that tour, and now I believe you guys are going to have the Deathcore album of 2023. So not only you guys are shoring up your live rigs and how to do your things live, I think there's a passing of the baton from one band to the other as far as records that are going to have a huge impact on the genre. One that had a huge impact last year and one that's going to have a huge impact this year. And now you guys also have another big tour coming up with Carnifex. And the question I have for you guys about that tour is that you're going to have Left to Suffer on that tour. Taylor Barber is going to be on that tour. Are we going to hear Unraveling on that tour?
Come to the show. You'll find out.
Yeah.
We
I
could
mean,
and we
maybe.
could not. We don't know. You gotta come and see.
Gotta buy a ticket. You gotta buy a ticket.
Exactly.
You gotta buy. I love that. That's great marketing right there. I love that. You just leave everybody on the edge of their seat and you're forcing everybody to buy a ticket. I love that. Do you guys have a favorite song to perform live? One that maybe like rocks your nuts a little bit more than the others?
On the Lorna tour, it was probably Stained in Rot, to be completely honest. That song just punches you in the dick. So it was like, it was great to play live, and it's just so heavy and kind of different from what we do normally. So that was my favorite personally. I don't know if Ricky has another.
On that tour, Stain and Rot was definitely fun to play live because I do a lot vocally in that song, some different pitch gutturals, some other stuff like that. And in that song, I tease a little bit of the singing voice, which was really cool to show people for the first time. It's just one quick little line, but like I had never done that before. And the first few shows that we did it, people kind of like freaked out, like, whoa, live, and then obviously released all the other songs where I sing more. But yeah, Stain and Rot was definitely the fun one live.
I have to ask you this question because I felt that discovering your singing voice on this album, I mean, with the singles, even before coming into the record, was such a fresh air for a genre that sometimes doesn't take as many gambles or doesn't take as many risks. How much are you enjoying that part of your voice?
Singing, as of right now, it's all gone pretty well and it's all working. So I'm enjoying it. It's been real fun. As far as like the longevity of it, we'll see. But I've sang all my life, as well as, done the metal vocals. I sang in school, I sang in choir, I sang in different languages. I've done that my whole life. I just didn't think it would be able to transfer over to this band, but we made it work. So it's very fun to do.
Did you ever, Chase? Does it blow you away, the reception of fans? My views on it, I'm in love with it. I think you guys found such a cool thing to add to the brutality of the sound. Did it inspire you?
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to get Ricky to sing on record for like 2 years since we like started the band. And with the Oblivion EP, it was me and our former bass player that did a lot of vocals. On Wide Open, it was just me doing the chorus, and then Ricky kind of came into his voice during the production. I mean, originally Ricky was gonna sing. We were going to take the singing down a notch on this record, and we just kind of got into the studio, and even the producer Morgoth loved Ricky's voice and was like, we need more of it. So it's like, it definitely, I wanted a lot of singing always. So for me, I'm always inspired by that type of stuff. I just feel like it adds something very cool to music.
I agree 100%. I hope you guys continue to do it because it's such an inspiring tool to have, and it adds so much depth and texture to the songs. I got one last question for you guys. Deathcore as a genre has evolved quite a bit from the beginning to where we are currently. Where do you see the role of Sulfur in that continuous growth that the genre will have over the next couple of years?
Wherever everybody will have us, essentially, to me, I I'm just happy to be doing it, and hopefully we can keep playing some badass tours and meeting cool people,
Yeah. I mean, the more we can piss people off by singing, the better, because it's people talking about us. So we're gonna keep doing it. But yeah, like Ricky said, wherever it takes us, I'm happy. I'm just happy to be, doing music on a level like this, because for me, it's like what I've wanted to do since I was a kid. So I thank Ricky for that all the time. I thank my guys for helping me, without Ricky, I wouldn't have had this opportunity. And, I feel like we've made a great partnership out of it. So it's awesome. And wherever it takes us, I'm cool with.
Well, with no offense to the other guys on the bill, I'm coming to see you on that Carnifex show tour. I'm really coming for you guys. Let's face the facts. No offense to the rest of the bands. I love everybody who's on that bill, but I'm there to see you guys live. I absolutely enjoyed what you guys did on that Lorna Shore tour. I'm coming back for more. So I'll see you guys in Toronto, hopefully at a packed house. And I'm hoping to see some of the new tracks from the, I'm not going to ask you because I know you got to buy a ticket to find out, but I'm hoping to see some of the tracks from the new record on that set list. And I'll see you guys all in Toronto.
Most definitely, man. And, we're stoked to see you. Fucking every time we see you, it's a pleasure. So can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys. We'll see you at that show. Best
Oh, yeah,
of luck
bud.
with the release. March 24th, Century Media. The album comes out, The Burden of Faith. Go pick it up. Support these dudes. They're great people, great folks, and come to the show. I'll do my best to make sure every metalhead in Toronto comes out to see you guys on that day. And I expect a packed house. Don't expect me to do any crowd surfing because I'm too old for that shit. But I'll definitely be there rocking my big tits in the front row, watching you guys rock the place. See you.
Right on, buddy.
Hell yeah, man.
Sounds good.